Blessings. Welcome to today's Law Enforcement Daily Devotional. Today we're in Psalms, and there's 5 Psalms we're going to read, or we have read. 85, 102, 106, 123, and 137. But I want to just give an acknowledgement before we get to today's read. At the end of today's read, after studying and reading, I had a moment where I was very thankful for this daily read plan. I've been doing daily reads since 2008, 1 year Bible plans, basically. And this is the first time I've done this one. But the difference with this one, just like these Psalms right here, someone took the time to read through the Psalms and pick out the Psalms that were written while the people were in captivity in Babylon and put them in the right place. And it gives, as I've read through this year, it's given me a different perspective and just a real good understanding of where a lot of these stories fit in chronologically. Not just read the whole book of 2 Kings, the whole book of 1 Chronicles, 2 Chronicles, but to put these stories together in chronological order has been awesome. And I want to let you know where I got this 1 year read plan. It came from the Ryrie Study Bible, and this is not, it's the NASB, but it's not actually the Bible I'm using right now. But it's a plan I pulled out last year that I looked at and thought, hey, maybe next year I'll use that Bible plan. And it's been incredible. And I loved this Bible. Charles Ryrie went to Dallas Theological Seminary, my school, where I'm going right now. But it's just been one of the best 1 year daily reads I've ever come across. So there's the plug for that. Getting into this, like I said, these Psalms, we've been in Ezekiel and Jeremiah and 2 Kings and 2 Chronicles, and we've been jumping all around, reading about everything that's led up to Nebuchadnezzar coming into Babylon, taking Babylon, exiling the Israelites to Babylon, and what that has all looked like. And today, just like yesterday we read Psalms that were written while they were in captivity in Babylon, we do the same today, but there's a couple of good law enforcement takeaways for me as we read through this. So in 85, verse 1 through 3, the psalmist makes it clear, or not makes it clear, he's giving a clear case. He's making his case to God, saying, Lord, we've been exiled. We're away from home in Babylon. But you have shown your loving kindness and you've forgiven your people in the past. That's what he says in 1 through 3. So then when it comes to 4, he says, so since you have a history of doing that, what do you say you let us go home? I love the fact that they're making their case. But more importantly, they're making their case based on the character of God. They know God. They know His loving kindness. They know His compassion, His grace, and His mercy. And so they're banking on that. And you know what God does? God will let them go back home. He's got a 70-year plan that they're going to be in exile. And it's kind of like a year of Jubilee where He gives the land of Jerusalem and Judea and Israel this rest before He sends them all back in. Then in verse 10, he talks about, I just love this verse, loving kindness and truth have met together. Righteousness and peace have kissed each other, showing the relationship between all these characteristics of God and how they work together. And it's an acknowledgement of who God is. Like I said, this psalmist knows God, knows His compassion, and reminds God of these things. But loving kindness, which is Hesed, if you say it right, Hesed and truth have met together. And then righteousness and peace have kissed each other. In other words, if you want peace, got to have righteousness. Law enforcement people know this. Justice and righteousness are the foundation of God's throne. If we can carry out justice and righteousness, that's the thin blue line for us, then we have peace. Keep the evil at bay, put bad guys in jail, then we will have peace. To me, that verse just resounds law enforcement. 102:18, a people yet to be created will praise the Lord. What a cool thought. God knows us. We're wonderfully knit together in our mother's wombs, and God knew us before we were even born. And he knows there's a set of people out there who've yet to be born who will worship him. I love that. Verse 27. This is a promise that I've landed on and camped on several times, that God is the same today that he was yesterday, that he will be tomorrow. He is always the same, and you can always count on that. God doesn't change. He doesn't change the rules. He doesn't amend his constitution. When you learn about God, you can trust that, and you can be confident in what, as long as you've learned truth. And to me, God is the rock. And I've hidden behind that rock so many times, sought shelter in the shadow of that rock several times. I love that thought. It's a personal one for me. 106:3 is a great law enforcement verse. Please go read that one if you haven't already, and mark it, highlight it, whatever you need to do. 106:30. Phineas talks about Phineas. This guy will always be remembered for being zealous for the Lord, for standing up and doing the right thing no matter what the consequences were, no matter what he thought society or culture was going to say or point out, whether they're going to make fun of him or put him in jail. He didn't care. He's going to do what God told him to do, and he's going to stand up for righteousness, and he will always be remembered for that. Verse 43, many times he would deliver them. However, they were rebellious in their counsel, and so sank down in their iniquity. God will deliver us over and over and over again. The Bible is full of the stories where he delivered Israel over and over and over again. But they were rebellious. We've got to fight rebellion. We've got to fight against that, against going against the rules, against not doing what we're told, about getting prideful and arrogant. You can't tell me that. You can't make me do that. We've got to fight against that. We've got to do what we're told to do in Romans 13 and obey that authority that's set before us. 137. I'm going to skip 123. I'm running out of time. 137. These captives in Israel are sitting on the banks of Babylon, and they're wishing they were back home, and they're wishing evil on the Babylonians who brought them there. I mean, they're wishing some very evil things. Remember, God told them, go to Babylon and be good citizens. I'll bring you back, but be good citizens. Once again, we see the rebellion. They're not going to be good citizens, and they're going to sit there and all day long just wish and think and fantasize about the evil that's going to come on Babylon because they took them out of their home. Tomorrow we're in Daniel 7 and chapter 7 and 8, and then we're going to jump backwards and read Daniel 5. Trust this plan. It's a good plan. Till then, you guys be safe. I'll see you tomorrow.